for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. He stays on side. Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.
Hello and welcome to part 2 of this week's Goals Eye View. We've got a very special guest this week, Danni Wyatt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, if we did actually just start and then we realised we won't record on this bit, but we did have a good warm-up of this bit. So if you just repeat what you've just said for the first bit, I asked something like, what does Torquay United mean to you? And congratulations on your role. But if you just want to start again and go through that bit about your footballing journey in Torquay United, just like you just did, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. So yeah, back to the beginning. I was 8 years old when I first went to Playmore, and it was my headmaster at primary school that took me there. We played at half time on the pitch in the corner of the pitch, and it was my first experience of Playmore. It was my first experience of Torquay United, and I was blown away, and I was inspired by this giant football stadium. Just a young girl wanted to play football, really. So that did it for me straight away. I had a medal. I still got the medal. My picture was in the newspaper, so I thought I was a star. And then I didn't grow up in that area. My nan did. I lived down the road, so I could hear the Torquay fans. And then I moved across the road from the stadium. So my parents moved there, and it was just opposite the Gull'S Lodge. So I would see players like Danny Stevens and stuff walking up and down the road. I'm like, there's Danny Stevens, and he was like the same height as me at the time. So it was just, I was just really inspired by it. And I ended up going to school across the road, and I'd spend lunch times in what is now the Cove, have my lunch in there looking at the pitch. And I was so lucky to just grow up with this club right in front of me, and just so inspired to play on that pitch. Obviously, the women's team didn't form till 2013, but as soon as they did, I was knocking on their door. I was playing for a team called Playmore Ladies at the time, and then Torquay United women formed, and I was top goal scorer at Playmore Ladies, and I thought they got to let me in there. And they let me in, and they let me sit on the bench and just experience, women's football. And that was it. So it's been a whole journey. It's been a whole life of being just totally inspired to play football by this club across the road from me. That's it really from the beginning. And I'm still here. I'm still at the club 10 years on. So yeah, I haven't got over it.
That's absolutely fantastic. You've got an injury at the minute, haven't you? How's that going?
Yeah, it's okay. It's a struggle. I think last season we were in Tier 4 in the National League, and for me that's been my dream with this club. So I struggled with that injury during that season. We had some difficulties with players, with fielding players. We went down to bare 11 during our relegation battle, which nobody wants. So if I dropped out, we'd have 10 on the pitch. I couldn't do it. So I played through it. I played through the pain. It was plantar fasciitis. And I think because I continued on and on and on, it's now, I've had an MRI. It's a heel spur as well with something I can't spell called tenosynovitis, which is an inflammation around the tendons in my foot. So yeah, a few nasty things going on down there, but it's being managed. And I'm back with a consultant in December. So hoping to be back on the pitch in January, actually, if all goes well.
Wow.
Yeah, so that I'm really positive. My fingers are crossed for that, because I've had this now for 9 months. So it's been a long time. It gets in the way of me just kind of walking around in general. So it'll be really, really nice to get that gone and get fit again, because I've not been able to run. So it's been different. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Best of luck with that. I guess you want to make sure that it's right, will you? Before.
Oh yeah, it's going to be kind of It'll be bits on the beach and stuff, and I'm really close with Alex Naramore, who's managing it at the Essential Clinic, and he's guiding me all the way with it. So I know I can't go in full throttle. It'll have to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Do the basics first. Walk before you can run.
I bet you're desperate to get back in though, aren't you? Because they're having a great season.
I really am. They're absolutely smashing it this season. the new management's coming in, turned things around in terms of he's brought players in that we needed. We needed to strengthen the squad. We've still got our core there, and we've got our DNA, which we've always had. It's what won us the league and sent us flying into the National League. Unfortunately, tumbled out of it, but I'm so positive and determined. I think we'll go ahead and go back up this season. I can't see that changing right now, not with the performances the girls are having and the way things are going. So yeah, really, really positive.
Yeah, so for the men's point of view, it's like, obviously the Football League, the 4th tier is always the aim, the dream. From like the women's sort of team, what is it? Is it similar 4th tier as well? Is that like where you want to build yourself from, get to it and build from? Or?
Yeah, that's where we were last season.
Yeah.
So that it's slightly different in the women's pyramid. It is called the National League. But for the men it is slightly different. But so there's national leagues and there's 2 divisions, and that's tiers 4 and 3.
Okay.
If you want to go and win that tier 3, you're in the championship. And you're a fully professional women's team. So our battle is now get back into tier 4, which I think is where we belong. It's a hard league, really, really tough. We were up against teams like Bournemouth last season, who have a massive budget. They pay the players. We're not paid at the women's team. So yeah, we're going up against girls that are training 3-4 times a week. And do you know what? We were relegated by 1 point, and I think
I was going to say
we did a good
so
job.
Close.
Yeah,
it was the last game of the season, wasn't it? From remember, and it's if you're doing that with 10-11 players, basically, then
we did it for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So fair enough. Chris,
I'm just interested. You mentioned about kind of the owners and kind of the link to the ownership of the men's team. I'm always interested how much of a connection I guess there is between the men's team and the women's team, because they're separate entities in terms of the structure and the players and the Twitter or whatever it's called now, kind of the accounts and all that kind of stuff. So how much link is there between the male and female players in terms of kind of, do you train together? Do you go to the gym together? Is it just kind of very much kind of run separately because of the different kind of levels in terms of how you play and when you play, I guess, as well?
Yeah, it's separate. We are separate. We are separate kind of teams, obviously, for one club. So we'd never kind of train together. Or go to the gym together. We have our goals and our ambitions, and the men have theirs, and all together we join together to be Torquay United. That's how I see it personally. We go to match days and stuff. We support the men. We do what we can in the community when we're asked to, and that's all part of it. Really, that's all part of wearing the badge and being proud of the club you play for.
Yeah.
What was it
the
like?
Other thing,
go on, Chris.
No, I was just going to say the other thing I was thinking was you listening to what you were saying about struggling to get to keep 11 players on the pitch last season. How does, and again, not totally your bag, I accept this, but how does it work in terms of recruitment at that level? In terms of how easy is it to get footballers to play at that level, but also of the required standard to play at that level, who are going to kind of make a difference to the players you've already got?
Yeah, it's not easy. Women's football is on the up, and there's much more. Actually, when I say there's much more, there's so many more players now than there was back when I first started playing. So there are more options.
Right.
Geographically, it's difficult because we've got players that live in Bristol. We've got players that live, even further than that. We've got players coming from Cornwall areas, things like that. So we've had to kind of reach out to pull the talent in to this club. It's not a case of we all live in Torquay and just drive down the road and train. It is, we work hard behind the scenes to get the right players in and fill the gaps and get the players in that suit our DNA. For that, for those reasons, it's difficult to find players. It was difficult in the National League with teams. We're going up against teams like XSC, who are 20 minutes up the road, and they've got a great squad. So to kind of really go to opposite ends of the table, who are you going to play for at that level when there's only 20 miles between us? It's difficult. I think at the minute it's the biggest our squad's ever been, and so for those reasons, I think we've got more chance this season than I ever thought we would have to go up and then come back down. To try and go straight back up again, I knew that was going to be difficult as soon as we kind of bowed out of that league. But I think with the recruitment that's happened, and the players are travelling, you know, and I think credit to them for all the effort that they put in. We play kind of Southwest regional Premiership football, so we are all over the Southwest anyway, in away games. So yeah, but the home games for them are away games.
Yeah.
Danny, I apologise. I should probably know the answer to this question, but I don't. Is there a lot of women's youth football, and is there any sort of a pathway through from that to our team?
Yeah, so this is something that I want to look into and I want to work on personally. The club have got great link with South Devon College, and they've got players up there. So it's something that we need to create with the women's side. It's nothing really to do with the men's setup, but for the women's teams to have that pathway going. I know that I think it's in discussion in the background. Again, I'd have to check in with Steve on that, what actually the plans are. But we did have a development side where we could have players that maybe weren't quite ready for that Premier level of football in the region, but you know, wanted to play for the club, and we could kind of guide them towards that. When you're in women's football, you go from the age of 16 straight into women's football. There's no kind of like under 18s, under 21s, like kind of easier sides to go into. So kind of when I did it, I remember kind of stepping into women's football for the first time and being faced with these, you know, big centre halves that I couldn't get past because I was taller than Danny Stevens, like I said, but I still wasn't, you know, I'm not big enough. And it was terrifying. So that for me, that journey for me into women's football was, it took me some time to get used to the physicality of it, because you go from playing girls football straight into women's. Yeah. So we just want to, I think some clubs do it really well. I think Plymouth does it well. I think Exeter City do it well. And we want to kind of look at how we can do that and give girls the opportunity and inspire them. And that's how they're going to get into the you say it, first team, women's first team, and develop their football from there.
I think that's really good. I mean, sometimes we do it with the men's team at times. We go, we're Torquay, we're a long way away from things, and you know, but actually, as we also say, there's only so many clubs for these players, and you know, it's probably an honour for a lot of these people, like I said, to, you know, play for Torquay United. So even though we might not be able to match Exeter at the moment and all those sort of teams that can offer money, well, we can also bring the best of what's like below almost as well. So it's just about that sort of recruitment model, which is different and making it work really, which sounds like clearly is already happening from the squad you've got together. So that is brilliant. I want to ask you actually, before we go on to the next stuff, is what was it like making your Torquay United debut, and sort of what are your main moments, favourite moments playing Torquay United's women's team? Yeah,
so my Torquay United debut, I came off the bench in the second half and they put me on the right wing. And you know, I'm a number 10 centre forward player. I was probably a bit quicker back then though, back when I first signed, so I did a good job. And I remember making a last ditch tackle in the box. And it was a risky one because I was coming in from behind on the player, but she was in front of goal. And I managed to get into the box and slide from behind her, take the ball from in front of her, and it went out for a corner. I'll never forget that moment because that was my first game, and I just had all the energy in the world and all the adrenaline and all the enthusiasm. So that for me, that was my debut. And then for me, my focus was I want to start in this team and I want to show them that I can play. And I did. I ended up scoring goals and becoming a regular player in the squad. I did leave for one season. I did sign for Plymouth Argyle, so I could get some tier 3 and tier 4 experience, which I was lucky enough to have. And then I think there was a period where I stopped playing, and Exeter City contacted me and asked me to come and get fit with them, and that I should. This was years ago. That I should be playing. I shouldn't have kind of taken a break, kind of thing. So I signed for Exeter City, went to them, got fit, and then Torquay approached me, and I transferred over to Torquay. Jumped at it really because that's my club. And Torquay it was just after COVID, and they were on the rebuild, and we wanted to win the league. So they said, you know, I know it's not the same level, but will you come back and help us get back up to that level? I got in touch with a few of the players I used to play with back when I was first at Torquay, and I said, will you, if I go back, will you come back? And they did. And, you know, we all went back. We built a brilliant squad. And a few seasons later, we won the league. So, yeah, it was accomplished, really.
I love that. That's a great journey. How do you find it with, because we hear about it a lot sometimes with part-time players, but with players who, because I've got passion music and I've always found like balancing normal life and then this sort of other life you live for it, balancing that. How is it like balancing when you're like literally going from playing for Torquay United Women to then being back in sort of a work career, which you can enjoy and then you go back? It's quite difficult to balance sometimes. How do you find that at times?
Yeah, I've been asked that before, actually, and I think I'm used to it. I'm so used to it that I don't know any different. And if you were to take that away from me, I'd probably find myself twiddling my thumbs thinking I should be doing something right now. And I'm not. So I've always worked full time. I've always worked really hard, and I love what I do outside of football. But for me, football is more important. Don't let my boss hear me say that, but it is. So I've always interviewed at jobs and gone for jobs, but I've always made it very clear that I need Sundays off and I need Thursday evenings off and I need this evening off for this. And they've always been really accommodating, which is I've been really lucky to have. You know, some employers have favoured me for jobs because I've got this going on the side, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I think they can see that it shines through. So yeah, I would say it's just something I've always managed to do. Yeah, I wouldn't be me without it. I think Torquay's given me such an identity and such a purpose for the last 10 years that without it I would be lost.
So true.
I think in fairness, I think me and Clive and Tam would say that football is more important than work as well. But the difference is we stand and shout in the crowd as opposed to play it, I suppose.
And the difference is that Danny knows my boss as well, my line manager. So I have to be careful. It's so true. It's so true. But yeah, no, it's so true. It's talking like it's our community and everything, isn't it? So it's right. I think we'll go to the next part unless you two have got anything. There's a few questions. Well, it's normally called Kelly's Corner, but Tom Kelly is not here. He's on holiday. So it's kind of Kelly's Corner without Kelly this week. Clive, Chris, got any more questions before we go forwards?
No, just an observation, really. It's so. I mean, I don't know you, Danny, but it's lovely to hear about the fire in your belly. Quite honestly, you know, obviously, you know, Torquay has been massive for you since you were 8 years old. I think that that is so many people's experience around here, and it's just brilliant. So we do wish you all the best for your new role on the board, and it's just great to have almost like one of us on there, really.
Yeah, perfect. We love it. Also the community share issue. Right, we'll go into that now. And congratulations, we've had. You probably had so many lovely messages as you deserve. Also, first of all, what was the process like, and what would you say? Sort of, what was that feeling like when you found out you got it?
Yeah, well, I mean, the process was, I think it was in 3 stages. It was send a statement across, and then I was interviewed on Zoom. And that was kind of questions I would have expected. You know, I am really positive about this, and I'm really enthusiastic, and I think that shone quite a bit during that. And I just really wanted to get in front of them and show them who I am. A lot of people kind of know me as the player on the pitch that has a bit too many yellow cards in the past and is a bit feisty. And you know, I've got a real professional side to me. I'm a professional in work, in my career, and I want to bring that to the club now and show that I can make a difference. So, yeah, when I got in front of the board, I was asked to come up with a presentation on my intentions, on what I intend to do in 6 months, what my legacy will be. So it wasn't the easiest thing to sit down and write. It was that I took a lot of thought, and you know, it took a lot for me to stand there. And I think it was a 5 to 10 minute long verbal presentation. It was daunting walking into that room. You know, you had Michael Westcott and Mark in there as guests, and I just had to win them over. I do know a lot of the TUS members. I know them because they're at our games, and I talk to them. I used to work with one of their wives back when I was a teenager. So yeah, I feel comfortable with them. I feel comfortable with Nick. I've had some great experiences with Nick, and we chat a lot about what's going on. So they did make me feel at ease, and there was a lot of positive reinforcement during it. And I just hoped that I did well and came across how I wanted to. And it was the next day I was in work, and obviously when you've just been to like an interview or just done something, you're thinking about what you said, how did it come across, and overdrive really. And then I had a text from Nick saying congratulations, and I thought, oh, I must have got it then. And then I went into my emails, and then that's when I saw the email from Tuss, and I thought, oh, I did get it. And I went through the email, and it was amazing. And I told my dad straight away. So I was so excited, and I knew that he would have been excited too, kind of being kind of a bit of an inspiration for me to go and do this. So yeah, it was a great feeling. And then I was like, oh my God, now I'm scared.
That's
but
amazing.
Yeah, but quietly confident, because I, like you said a minute ago, I am a supporter that is just in love with this club. And for me, I think what made me go for this was we nearly lost this club, and we didn't really know what was going to happen, and it was I can't even find the words to describe it. It was scary. What would we have done if that was the end? Personally, for me, what would I have done without a club to play for? What would I have done without that club to support? What would it look like? And it was, yeah. I don't like to dwell on it because it's done now, and it's positive now.
We have to always remind ourselves, though, especially when we're complaining sometimes.
What an
it's
amazing thing.
It's such a good club.
Well, what are the early intentions, early signs, I should say, as to kind of what your kind of what your literal role will be in terms of kind of what you're going to bring in terms of how you actually contribute and what's required of you, I guess, as well, in terms of how you're going to kind of fulfill that role.
Yeah, that's a good question. I know that Tuss were looking for someone fresh and dynamic, and I think that's what I give them. I think that's what I gave them through that interview process. So I want, for me, my beliefs and my vision. I currently represent the underrepresented side of the fan base, which is women. I've been the Her Game 2 ambassador for the last couple of years. So I'm used to kind of being that representative. So I wanted to broaden that and represent everyone as a whole. I believe in inclusivity and diversity at this club. We pride ourselves that we're a family club, we're a community club, and I really want that to be woven into the fabric of this club. I want that to be our main thing. I want everybody to feel welcome on match days. I want the atmosphere to be vibrant, electric. It already is becoming that. It is, and you always want that diversity, and I think Torquay holds that in abundance. Every time I've been at Plainmoor, I see the diversity and everybody enjoying themselves, apart from maybe the end of last season. But now, since the turnaround, that's what I see, and I want to nurture that, and I want to build on that. I want to get out into the community, and I want to go into schools and inspire children like 8-year-old me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be at this club if it wasn't for what my school did, and put me on that pitch. So imagine how many children we can impact by bringing these community programs back into place and reaching out to businesses and schools and building the relationship with the community. It's the most important thing for us.
You're so right.
Yeah,
I think that was a big thing for me with this sort of club. Was again someone who had that when I was a kid. I was already a Torquay fan anyway, but the community coming in is something that, as we all know, that the club's completely fallen away from for a lot of years now. So it's vital that we start getting in like that, and I love that. I'm so happy you share that vision. So that's great.
I think as well,
didn't he? Frank Prince did it in.
I was going to say I was going to name drop him. I was going to name drop the great man. Yeah.
What a legend he was.
What a great guy.
We need Frank on here. He'd be super.
We do. Yeah. Get him on.
I think as well, something else which is interesting on that is that it became very much kind of a one-way street, because I don't think from a supporter perspective we lost that. I mean, both my two sons go to the home games, and I say with fans, I don't think we lost that desire and passion for the club and kind of wanting to do kind of we've been able to do more this season. But it became a one-way street, and without that kind of that intent from the leadership who can make that happen, it became very much a case of, well, fans are trying to do it and no one's interested, and through time that unless your heart's completely in it, like people like us are, it ebbs away, doesn't it? And I think that's what ended up happening, to the point where now this is just when we've said before, on that day we went to administration, you couldn't, if you'd have said, right, show me the perfect picture, you could never hoped for what we ended up with. So I think that's been the wonderful thing.
Yeah, definitely. And they care so much, and I've kind of took all this vision that I've got about community and diversity and inclusivity, and that is what they want, and that is what the board want, and it's what they believe. So it is so refreshing to know this is going on at our football club.
It would have been fun pitching that to George Edwards, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, imagine.
We've got a bit of a list of questions from three contributors. To be fair,
go for it, Clive. You're Tom Kelly today.
A fair bit already, but to start with, this is from Tom Kelly. Can you tell us what your short and long-term visions are for the club?
Yeah.
Sport, maybe.
Yeah, I've just done a presentation on it. So yeah, my first aims is I've got to get to know this board. I've got to get to know how they work, the dynamics that are there or they're already set, and how I'm going to slot into that, and how do I best represent the supporters in that. So I need to build those professional relationships, which is going well so far. I've had a really warm welcome from the board, and they are great. I have met them all before, so it is now just a case of building that professional relationship with them. We're all in it. We all want this club to be successful, so everybody is on the same page. So for me, it's getting to know that, and it's in the board getting to know me. That is a short-term goal of mine, and I want to know how everyone else is feeling as well. I can get a great sense of it. I can get a good idea of it from social media, how people are feeling, and just things like this. Just talking to you guys here and now. This is a great way to kind of gauge how you're feeling. So that's my first port of call. Long term is like I said, it's these sustainable community programs that are there long after I'm gone. So I want there to be things like people remembered, like Frank Prince, that really made an impact on the community.
Cedric Munslow, there's another name for you.
Yeah, I just want to build that, and I want people to recognise Torquay as that, and I want families to turn up. I want husbands, wives, and kids, and everybody to go turn up to a match day and have a great day out. So yeah, it's about building that back up again, and getting everybody back involved in this club, because how lucky are we to have a professional football club on our doorstep in a seaside town with such a history behind them, and every chance to be successful and get back into League One. I think that's everybody's dream, isn't it? And that's what I know that everybody is here to do, and are dead serious about it as well.
Yeah, fantastic. No arguments there. You've said obviously that you leave a lot of or you have been leaving a lot of maybe the political stuff to Steve, dealing with the club. But I mean, you're on the board now. Do you know if there's been any discussions with the board about getting the women on the pitch at Plainmoor?
Yeah, I know it's in discussion. I know I'd love to get back on that pitch. Last game we had there was last season, or it might be the season before. But it's a great pitch to play on, and it's a great venue for us to be on and showcase our games and show the Yellow Army what we're all about. There are I know there's thousands of fans that haven't seen us play, so it'd be great to get in front of them. So yeah, I know it's in discussion at the minute. I don't know when it will be. I know that there are problems with the pitch, kind of holding on to the men's fixtures and having so many this time of year at home. That it's just a case of managing that. So I don't know the newer answers on that since I last had that conversation with Steve, but I know it's in hand, and I know that we'll be on there at some point this season.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you draw a reasonable crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people should be coming to support you anyway. We should travel to see you wherever you're playing. But you know, playing more with with the facilities for fans. I mean, it's a win-win. I would say.
It's a great
So
pitch to play on. Yeah, it's quite big. It's quite a big pitch. It could do with being a bit smaller, but yeah, it is. It's lovely to play on.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. I think you've said one of the next question really was who's been your biggest influence in getting you involved. You mentioned obviously the teacher at the start. Was there anybody else in your younger days?
Yeah, my brothers actually. My brothers. I didn't grow up with friends that played football with me. I grew up with two brothers that played football with me, and I was better than both of them. So they, I used to shove them in goal and show them how it went. But no, they did. They really inspired me. And it was my older brother who I lost sadly last year that inspired me to get back into the women's game and go and sign for a club and go toe to toe, because you've got it. You've got it. Just go and do it and enjoy yourself. And he would come and watch me when I first went back to women's football and went and signed for Plainmoor. And I just remember looking over at him, seeing him still with his hands in his pockets, looking like a right lemon. But he was so supportive and he was so proud. So yeah, that was big for me. And when he passed sadly last year, it was a big inspiration of mine to keep going and keep trying to do him proud, because I know that he's watching and wants to see me do well and never give up.
That's fantastic. I mean, not all brothers would have done that, would they? And there's you sort of reaching the levels that you are now. It's a legacy for him as well, I guess.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Lovely. Right, we've got 4 questions here from Tibbs Ashton, who is a Torquay fan who lives in Ireland. I'm going to ask them as they've been written. What skills do you bring, Danny, to the board that are currently missing from it? I mean, if any. Tell us about your skills.
I mean, alongside football, I've got a great career in Wicks. I'm an operations manager for Wicks, and I lead a team, a great diverse team. That Wicks have got pretty much similar values to Torquay United. We're big on community. We're big on supporting people with that, and yeah, it goes hand in hand. Those skills are so transferable to go across. I look after numbers, I look after budgets, I look after kind of everything necessary HR wise and people and communicating and all of that. So I bring those skills with me. I bring age with me, because I've only just turned 30. So I've got a younger, fresher outlook. Not that their outlooks are not good enough, but it's just contributing to that. And just the opportunity to be a voice for supporters in my generation who, after the survey was done, there aren't enough of. So where are they? Because we want them back at the club, and we want them back coming to games and stuff and getting behind us. So they're out there. It's inspiring them to come back, and generations change, and people want different things from football clubs, and I think that's important to note. So yeah, I wouldn't say the board's missing anything, because I think they're all wonderful. And I think we're so lucky to have them, and the way things have changed. But I think I can just add to it. I think I can just add and make it that little bit, I don't know. I hope I can bring that positive touch and that passion. There's plenty of passion on that board, trust me. I've been in the room and I've heard it. So it is, it's like-minded people just trying to do a really great job for everybody.
That's lovely. I'm going to swap a couple around a little bit, because you talked about, I mean, you're sat here tonight surrounded by straight white blokes, aren't you? And you want the club to be more diverse, and that's got to be a strength. How can the club do that? How can we welcome a more diverse fan base, do you think?
I think I touched on it earlier. It already is very diverse. It's very family welcoming. I can see everybody being included. I think I think it starts with the core values of the club, and it's built on that, and it needs to be communicated. And if things like that are seen and not kind of dealt with, then it gets left and it builds, doesn't it? So I think it's just making sure that we promote that as one of our core values, and if it's kind of, I don't know, if it becomes something that needs to be dealt with, we deal with it. But for me, there isn't being at Her Game 2 for the last 2 years. I've seen this club and the fans and how they respond, and there isn't many issues going on. You're talking, we've got quite a good reputation with Her Game 2. We don't have many problems, any reports, things like that, of sexism. So in that sense, I'm really proud that this is my club and this is how we behave, and this is how we want to go on. So yeah, it's just, I think, it's just kind of how we work. It comes from the top team, doesn't it? It comes from the people at the top promoting that. That is how we want to be, and that's how we want to come across, and that will breed among the supporters. And as long as we all back each other with it, and back each other up when we see it, then it will look after itself in that sense.
Lovely, and thank you for that. I think Tibbs sort of comes at this from the point of view that a supporters, and I agree with him actually, a supporters trust representative on the board needs to be like a critical friend. Now, obviously, it's fantastic the people we've got there. I don't think anybody's had a bad word to say about any of them, but what are the issues that you think you should be putting forward sort of on the trust's behalf? And if there was a conflict, how do you think you'd deal with that?
Yeah. At the minute, I've not been briefed on any issues right now and how the trust are feeling. I'm sure that we'll get round to that. And there'll come a time where I may need to say, hold up. And that's fine. That's fine with me. I'll deal with the person that I've got in front of me, and I hopefully do it in the most constructive way that I can. I'm good at dealing with people. I do it every day in work, and I've worked in builders, merchants, and the trade sector for many years now. Managed in it, and I'm very used to that. I've worked in that environment, so yeah, I'm not too concerned. I can challenge people. I actually quite enjoy challenging people. So it is going to be, I think it's all going to be a journey. It's going to be a journey for me. It's something that I could never have dreamed of being on a football board, and now here I am. So let's go, let's do it, and let's do the right thing.
Super.
I think what's interesting as well, just on that, is that what the measures of success are, because of course every football club is different, isn't it? And we can all sit here and say, oh, we shouldn't be at this level and all this kind of stuff, but the reality is we are. So you can moan about it all you like, but that's where we are. But the measures of success for this board almost feel different, because they've said from day one, they've nailed their colours to the mast of, we need to get out of this league, we need to get out of this league, we need to get back into the National League, and then look to focus on getting back in the Football League. And that's fine. Everyone agrees with that. But if it doesn't happen this season, will it be the end of the world? I don't know the finances of it. I suspect financially it wouldn't be a great idea. But in terms of, if it doesn't happen this season, I don't think the board will lose the goodwill and everything that's been built up over the last few months, because I think it will just be a case of, right, we'll just go again and do it better next time. So I think the measures of success are different. It's not, win or bust, I don't think, this season, because they've said they're not, financially they're cleverer than that. But equally, the measures of success will be, okay, well, we need to get promoted. Right, we didn't. How are we going to then? As opposed to, everyone running around with their hair on fire if we don't go up.
Yeah, I agree.
That leads into the next question, actually. Go on, Clive.
It does, doesn't it? I think this is too early for you to answer.
And it's not really your question either, in a way, but go for it.
Tibbs wants to know, is the way that the club is currently run sustainable without promotion? I suppose that's
seamless, wasn't it? Wow, I've not even read that.
Well, we're so good at this, Chris. Well done.
I know. Wow, I'm in the wrong job.
Answer
it. Quite a groundbreaker. That. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I can't answer it. I'd like to think so.
Yeah,
but
sure,
I don't have.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Be positive. We'll go up.
They've set a budget they think they can afford, don't they? So
yeah,
hopefully we don't make a stonking loss this year, and it is sustainable. Let's hope
Well,
so.
we're on course to be okay at the moment. So that's all
Although,
good.
of course, let's hope that we're worrying about getting players in the summer for the next level.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Lovely Alan Wills.
I love Alan.
Follows the yellows everywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes on his bike. These are two. Yeah, we've not had this before, so this is nice. Favourite moments, please. One with the women's team and two from watching the men. Famous favourite moments.
Okay. With the women's team, it's got to be scoring a penalty in the Devon Cup final to beat Exeter City. And
I
win
remember
the Devon.
that. I remember following that.
Well, I actually was the player that gave away the foul where Exeter City went 1-0 out.
I don't remember that.
No, yeah, that was me. I'll never forget it. And then redeemed myself by stepping up and scoring that penalty.
Nice.
Not many players like to do that, but I do love a penalty. And I won't give any away my secrets there anyway. I was about to say
Don't need to.
no, I'm not going to do that.
Wait until you're retired, and
where
then
you
you
put
can
it,
say
can
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did it go?
Bottom right.
Excellent.
So, men's memory. Do you know what game I really, really enjoyed? Was when we beat Yeovil 6-1 on Boxing Day.
Oh, yeah.
That was so good, wasn't it?
What a game that was. I think I sat in Bristow's bench for that one on my own. Nobody would come with me to that Boxing Day game. So I thought, I'm going. And I sat with some friends anyway, they were at the game. But, oh my God, what a game. 6 goals.
Yeah, no, so we forget actually, because
we don't talk about. And who knew the season peaked that day as well?
Yeah, no, yeah, it did actually go.
It went downhill from there, didn't it? Danny Wright got injured, and that was it.
We forget how good that team was. That's like I would say, apart from like for me, that was my favourite moments. That like first part of that season, like the sort of like we forget how incredible that team was under Gary Johnson. Like it was amazing. The football we played, it was a dream, honestly.
Yeah, what a game.
On that one.
That was it. Then for me, that's it.
Brilliant, thank you. Right, last one. You'll be delighted to hear. Johnny Jones says, well, go on. We'll ask you the question. What would be your top 3 ways of improving the average Popsiders match day experience?
Oof.
Difficult.
Food.
Blimey.
Yeah. Do you know what?
Drink.
I've seen a lot about food. Drink. Yeah. I've seen a lot about food. And it's great. I think that is the way that we're going to go. I don't know. I can't give you that answer, but I do think it's something that needs improved personally as a supporter.
Local businesses,
yeah, and supporting them. That needs to happen. Other ways.
Programs, Danny. Print more programs. Me and my dad love a program, and we keep not getting a program. Print more programs. It's stressing us out.
Earlier.
True. It's a fair point.
Yeah. Problem solved. I think
it's already improving. To be honest,
I think what they're doing, I mean, the artwork they've done
incredible
over in that stand is just. I wasn't expecting that.
I was very lucky. I saw it in progress. I was doing a project which will soon be announced in a few weeks, but I saw it and I met the bloke doing it, and it was incredible. Honestly. It was, the story of the bloke is he's been all over the world doing it. He's now settled back into Torquay, actually, from Brighton. And this time we were walking past it, and it's just incredible. I just don't understand how someone can imagine that all up and do it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I did A-level art, but I could never do that.
Mate, I'm still a stick man.
Yeah, I can't draw 3D shape, and I'm 42, that's just how it works, isn't it?
And I think the refreshed Playmore, the initiative that the trust have gone forward with was just incredible from the supporters. I know I got involved. Wix donated, my store donated the materials for the job. Valspar donated the paint. And everyone got to it, and it was managed all volunteers. So what an incredible football club. Things like that, the facilities, I know they're still being worked on. Because I've still got the carpenter coming into Wix getting the wood off me. So they're still going and they won't stop. So I think that is that it just shows you, doesn't it, with the direction we're going in, how we're trying to create that better atmosphere. Just giving it a coat of paint and cleaning those seats. It changes someone's day.
Here's one for you. Get that gate open down the Babbacombe end of the pop side. People can't get out.
Why don't they open that?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe that's for safety reason.
Maybe, yeah.
You even managed to get one of the signing videos into Wix as well. I mean, trying to remember, was it Brad Ash? Was it Brad Ash?
I was going to bring that up. I couldn't quite remember what it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I want to say Cody Cook, but Cody Cook was the one in the ice cream van, wasn't he?
Yeah. So that video, I had to get clearance from Wix because I said, "Am I allowed to fly a drone in this store?" And everyone's a bit like, "I'm not sure." Are you?
What an odd question.
I don't know. And then Will Hancock's come down, and I said, "Well, I'm not sure." And I said, "You know what? Let's just go with it." And we did it, and Brad was jumping in and out of that bath, and it wasn't really fixed to the floor. And I was a bit worried it was going to topple over on him, and it was
How do footballers take that? Right, Brad. Here's the gig. Yeah. What you got to do is, was he a bit like, what?
He loved it. He loved it, and everyone in Saw loved having him in there. And it was a great partnership that day. And Will said to me, "Do you want to be in the video trying to catch a drone?" And I thought, "Oh my god, really? Okay, I guess so." And then and it all just came together, and it was brilliant. And then people were saying, "Well, this is not a landmark." Yeah, it is.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, and now Brad Ash gets free bathroom sealant. So everyone was a winner there, wasn't it?
There you go.
Danny, thank you so much.
Incredible.
You've answered. I think you've answered all our questions. I don't know if you have anything.
No, amazing. Thank you so much.
Good. Well, I'm glad.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations again. We've got one of ours, as Clive said earlier, as part of our board. So thank you very much for joining us, Danny, and good luck with everything. And thank you everyone for watching this. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. He stays on side. Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benjamin. Sells.